Hello once again. I am still Sarah Moore, author of Peaceful Discipline, founder of Dandelion Seeds Positive Parenting, and board president for the American Society for the Positive Care of Children. And I am about to have a quick little chat with a brilliant and really just loving, wonderful human being who I deeply admire and respect, Dr. Larry Cohen. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Sarah. Great to be here.
Tell me one myth that you think is far too prevalent in the parenting and caregiving world today.
Um, the one I thought of was that sometimes you just have to be harsh. Like people will say, oh, well, okay, all that gentleness, positive, all that, but what if they're running in the street? It's like, yes, of course, if they're running in the street, we have to stop them. And we have to be active and firm and alert and fast and think about some children are runners. And so with those children, we need to really carefully consider every time we go outside, which is a lot. But that doesn't mean that even in that situation, they need to be screamed at, they need to be hit, they need to be grabbed and forced, they need to be terrorized into, don't you know you could be splattered all over the pavement? You know, that a lot of parents feel like there are situations where we have to instill fear, we have to get the point across. And even when people think, yes, this all sounds good otherwise, but in these situations, and it's not just running into the street, it might be hitting the baby or all these kinds of things. And, yeah, we have to interrupt a dangerous behavior, but we can take that breath and do it with connection.
I love that example so very much because, frankly, most of life is not about running into the street. Either we're creating emotional
Right.
safety or we're not. So,
Mm.
example, and you're right, it's widely applicable. So, thank you so much for that. What's something else that you wish more parents and caregivers simply knew today?
I think it's that connection is the heart of everything. And the next step I would take is that there are always two possible roads we can take to connect with children, and they happen to be the two languages of children. So one is the language of play, so we can connect playfully, and not when they're running in the street, not while they're clobbering the other kid, maybe, but they're even then, not in that moment, but later when we're talking about it, we can say, let's play running in the street, and I'll be the kid running into the street, and you have to stop me. Or let's take the baby doll and pretend it's the new baby. Ooh, I dropped the baby. We can laugh and get out whatever those feelings are through play. And the other language of children is the language of emotion. Their cortex, all the language centers, there's a big empty space waiting for the first couple of years and then growing incredibly. But the emotional parts of the brain are ready to go from the get-go. And so the deepest ways to connect with children are through play and through emotion. So if you take the example of being rough with the baby, it could be, oh, you're so jealous, and it's understandable, and I get it, and we haven't had enough special time, just you and me. Um, and it was so hard, I told you, be gentle with the baby, and that's important, but sometimes you just forget because things are hard, and we're reconnecting emotionally. We're remembering that with a solid connection, the child is going to want to be gentle with the baby, not, I know not to do it when mom's not looking, which is kind of when we use punishment. That's what the kids learn. I'll just be sneakier about it. Or we connect playfully, um, and um, we make use of these two great strengths in children. We often see the emotionality of children as a weakness. They're not logical yet, but it's actually, if we remember that we also have emotions, and we also have that very deep part of us that we can connect heart to heart, emotion to emotion, see children want to be good, if they're acting up, there's something going on, there's a need they have, there's an emotion we have. And if we connect with them in that way, then the problem resolves.
So, so good. And you just taught me something really interesting about myself. I thought I was in my 50s. It turns out I am actually a very young child because those are my two primary preferences for learning as well. So, a lot of
Yeah,
stuff never ever expires. So, I love that you're shining light on it.
absolutely. And for some parents, it's recapturing that. It's never totally lost. If I can add one more myth, it's like, I'm not playful. It's like, well, we all have that spark somewhere inside. And some of us are lucky enough to never have lost it, and we still have that sense of our emotions can freely flow in a safe way, and we can be playful. We know that we learn that way. Um, so either way, whether you've lost it and need to get it back, or you've never lost it, this is the way to go.
I love that you added that. Thank you. What is one actionable tip that people can start implementing right this very second?
I think that something that's underestimated is the power of a very simple gesture, physical gesture. Most of us, we're in our heads all the time. We're on our phones, we're reading, we're thinking in words. And so if you're angry, then the gesture of you make the fist and you let it go. Now, you don't make the fist in the face of your kid because they don't know that you're doing a positive thing by representing where you're at and then letting it go. So you do that, behind your back if they were with the child, or go to the bathroom and or another one that I really like is the solar plexus. So right here, it's called the solar plexus because it's a muscle shaped like the rays of the sun. So to me, it symbolizes that sending love out, gathering love in. So a little rub of the solar plexus is like a reminder, oh yeah, connection, connection, connection. What do I really want? What does my child really need? Just the, it takes me longer to say it than it takes to do it. Okay. You can do it for half a second and it can rewire what's going on. And then my other favorite is pat the baby. So you pretend you have a fussy baby on your shoulder and you pat, 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 pat. I'm just doing this, telling it to you, but I feel my heart rate going down. I feel my breathing slower. If I'm on an airplane and there's a fussy baby, I'll do this. And at the very minimum, it helps me not get agitated. And I feel like it spreads around. There's something about that energy. Um, because the parent of the crying baby is feeling humiliated and scared and feeling rejected and protective of their child, all those crazy feelings. And then, I mean, all those mixed feelings that are making them feel crazy. And then the people around are annoyed and aggravated. But there's many, many situations where instead of yelling, calm down, which, when you say it like that, it's so obviously not going to work, but we all do it anyway. Um, this, ah,
Larry, it really is contagious. You're doing it to yourself and talking about how calm you feel. And my body is like, I'm going to take a nap now. Good. So thank you
yeah.
for sharing that. Mirror neurons are powerful and emotions really are contagious. Where,
Yeah.
my friend, can people learn more about you and the brilliant work that you do?
Playfulparenting.com. The website is a work in progress, but you can find out there how to contact me, and I'll get you on my newsletter list and find out all about things that are going on.
Yes, for those of you who are watching this, please do that. I think so, so highly of this man, and I just want the whole world to know him. So thank you so much, Larry, and I will see you again
Uh,
soon.
okay.